Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I'm Conrad, and this is the 45. Returning from suspension, if you will. The last match played in week 29. We are in the last 20% of week 29, I should say. Last match played Monday, March 9th. Leicester 4, Villa 0. A couple days later, Mikel Arteta diagnosed with COVID-19, and that was it. March 13th, season suspended. Here we now sit. June 16th, the Bundesliga has returned with good success thus far for a few weeks. Bayern actually claiming their title again today. La Liga back in action as well. Serie A resumes this weekend. But feeling a little bit rusty, much like probably the rest of the Premier League teams and all of these clubs as they come back. But we'll jump straight in and take a look at where we left off last week 29. Liverpool still 25 points clear at the top.
There is a lot to play for, though, beyond just the title, which is a serious title race right now. But in all seriousness, Liverpool running away with the title. They're probably going to win it potentially as soon as Sunday, should Arsenal lose tomorrow and they win on Sunday, which is...
I mean, Arsenal win tomorrow.
Oh, Arsenal win tomorrow, should I say.
But I think you think Arsenal may lose tomorrow. It was a bit of a slip there.
Yeah, that was not... that is what we expect to happen. Towards the bottom, we'll start there. Villa with their game in hand, should they take the victory over Sheffield United, they could launch themselves up into 16th. The mid-table is kind of a weird spot. What are you fighting for still? But you look at, people talk about Arsenal still maybe potentially in the race. You look as low as Crystal Palace, 39 points. I'm not going to say that fifth is easy for them, but 6 points off.
And 9 points out of fourth place.
And there's still a lot to play for. 9 matches left is going to be a sprint. But ultimately, if Manchester City's Champions League ban, which the hearings for their appeal on their 2-year ban from the Champions League is going to be heard, starting to be heard this week, started last week, going to be continuing. If they're going to be able to avoid the ban, top 4 as usual. If they are banned for next year, maybe even the year after, 5th place opens up as the new top 4, which could mean that Manchester United currently, Sheffield United, Wolves, all of them will be looking at that spot, hoping that they can maybe snag a place in the next year's Champions League.
It's a strange top half with Spurs and Arsenal down as far as they are. Burnley, again, Sean Dyche has that team there or thereabouts. Wolves, as you mentioned. Sheffield United, clearly the surprise. Everton outside looking in. Newcastle, happy to be pretty clear at this point, understanding what their ownership situation, probably a question for them. But then Hammers, Watford, Bournemouth, all just trying to keep their head above water right now. West Ham and Watford out on goal difference at this point.
Yeah, they're just going to hope for just escaping with the skin of their teeth. And West Ham especially, the amount of money they've invested would be devastating for them to fall down after the amount of money they've spent in the last couple of windows. If they were to fall down, especially Aston Villa as well, dropping over £100 million in the transfer window. If they were to fall down as well, it's a lot of money for you to lose in your investment if they're not able to get through.
Hope for the quick bounce, but you see what's happening to Sunderland, right? They're down 2 leagues already, right? And they spent a gajillion dollars, and that's a very unhappy fan base and a very unfortunate situation with that club. On to the remainder of week 29, we go again. Villa home at Villa Park to Sheffield United Football Club, as you mentioned. 19th for Villa on 25 points. Sheffield United very happy in 7th place at 43 points. Again, this is Dean Smith returning to action with a heavy heart. His father passing away from COVID-19 during the interval. So returning again to an empty Villa Park, normally a raucous crowd. Does have John McGinn available for selection. Tom Heaton, Wesley, both still out due to the knee injuries they sustained before the suspension. Chris Wilder has a fully fit side, getting ready to head to Villa Park. I think, personally speaking, Villa have the better talent. Sheffield United have the better team, if you will. But I think Dean Smith is going to have his players ready to go and integrating John McGinn back in. Ordinarily it takes a little bit of time to integrate a player like that back into the side, but they're all reintegrating with one another. I think they have a chance to catch United sleeping on restart and take a very, very valuable 3 points away. That's where I'm seeing this one head.
Yeah, whoever does end up taking the victory, I have it the opposite way of you. I have United taking it over Villa. It's going to be big for them if either team gets 3 points. A draw would obviously be neither team necessarily wins because they both need the 3 points to advance past their current rivals. But It's going to be kind of indicative on how the rest of the season's going to kind of play out, because if teams are able to get through solely on talent, maybe Villa do have a good chance. But if the core team values can still persist, which I think that they can, I think that Sheffield United will actually be able to come away with what would have been a tough away fixture. Now, not much of a away crowd element that they have to deal with. So it's going to be probably a bonus for them, since they don't have to deal with that atmosphere, and potentially could see themselves as high as 5th place if they're able to come away with my projected result. Which, if they would finish the season there, you and I would be the first ones to admit nobody would have seen that coming if we looked back in August.
No, I would have to go back. I don't even remember if we had them pegged for relegation at this point. I think it feels like an eternity ago.
I would not have been surprised if we said that they were likely to get relegated. And that would be just bad.
Oops.
Yeah.
Got that one wrong.
Yeah.
I know you. So here we have Arteta returning to the Etihad to face his old boss, Guardiola. Obviously, Arteta doing, by all measures, well, recovering from COVID-19. Both teams have no injury concerns heading into this. Again, Arteta had this team playing really, really well heading into the week 29, and then obviously they've been off for 3 months, so see what happens. Obviously, he's got the free scorer. Aubameyang just has got 49 goals already. If he gets 50 in this match, he'll be, I think, the 3rd or 4th fastest to that tally. And then Guardiola just trying to keep them in the top 3, top 4. Don't know what's going to happen with the ban. But overall, this is a tough one to predict because it's a restart. But City clearly have the talent.
Yeah, and I think that if City win this match, they could really kind of look at, I don't want to say not caring about the rest of the season, but they'd be 7 points clear of Leicester City, and they would know that we're not realistically catching Liverpool. We'll try and win until we'll push hard until it's mathematically ruled out, which could be as soon as 2 matches if they win their games. And so I think that City will ultimately maybe even be able to just rest their players and look forward to the Champions League matches that will be happening in the middle of August, is where they're being pegged to be happening, which is obviously a long time from now, so you're not just going to rest all your players until then. But they will still be able to, I think, open things out in a really dominant fashion. And this just kind of screams to me as a match where City have 3 goals within 15 minutes, and it's an absolute rout. And I think that Arsenal will be unfortunate to come and have their really strong run of form just kind of cut short. But I think City are going to make it a bad return to football for them.
I don't have it quite as lopsided as you do, but the interesting thing here that PremierLeague.com had a note here on Arsenal are unbeaten away in their last 7 matches. 1 win, 6 draws. And I don't think you're going to win or draw against City at Etihad with that much rest and that much talent and 5 subs to just bludgeon.
Yeah, the subs are the big thing for me. The rest that City are going to have and the ability to just kind of unleash on Arsenal, it's not going to be pretty for a team that has not been very defensively sound this year. I wouldn't say they've been porous defensively, but I think that it's just going to be a case of City being dominant on the offensive end and just overwhelming Arsenal.
I think Aguero is probably going to come through green in this one. 10 goals in his last 12 appearances against Arsenal, including all 3 in this fixture last year in a 3-1 win at home against Arsenal. So we return tomorrow to week 29. Week 30 begins on Thursday, and it's every match broadcast live on TV here in the United States. Yay us, yay us.
And it's not going to be any overlapping matches, so you're missing nothing. You just sit there and you just absorb it.
Some of us have work to do.
Just sit there and absorb it.
Well, that'll do it for the remainder of week 29 here on June 16th, 2020. For Jack, I'm Conrad, and this has been the 45. Thank you all. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Take care now.